I mean, I don't know how far you want to drill down on the Velveteen Dream thing, man. Like,
I mean, we've said a lot already, and that's the thing. I mean, it's just
10 days ago when this happened, when he returned.
Yeah.
And when NXT had a little bit of Tony Khan syndrome and said, "Oh, we got a big surprise," and it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, they really pulled a bait and switch with him being the, hey, here you go, surprise. And I had hoped for more from NXT, and I know they're really high on Velveteen Dream. Triple H said that, he wasn't taken off TV. The only reason he was off is because he was in that car accident. And once he was healed and able to come back,
here's where I'm going to go to the opposite side. We gave Triple H a lot of credit at the beginning of this podcast.
Here's the other side of that coin.
NXT's his brand. Oh, he was just in a car accident. That's why he was off. Of course that's what he said. Like, of course that's what he said.
Yeah, he's not going to say otherwise.
Like,
we knew that.
But, like, it's bad enough that they brought him back. And that he's a character that I'll admit I liked at one point. It took me a while to get what the character was. And okay, he's doing it and he's playing it up and he's really campy and it's, it's sort of like a different switch on like a Goldust-esque, I'm talking in very loose terms, a Goldust-esque character, and he's been in a bunch of different things. He's been in a bunch of multi-persons. He's had his moments at TakeOver with guys like Gargano and guys like Ciampa and guys like Riddle, and he's filled a lot of roles really well, and he's shown every single time that if you put him in a main event picture, he's not. He managed to have a bad match with Adam Cole.
Yeah, which was surprising, but I don't think it was so much the match. You're talking about the fight that they had in the parking lot?
There's 20, 30 other people you could have put in that exact scenario with Adam Cole.
And it would have turned out
and
better.
It would have been great. And he pissed me off.
Velveteen Dreams, he's not...
But they've tried so many times with him.
Yeah, he didn't... Nothing about that encapsulates who he is as a person. So it just didn't fit his role.
Do you remember when Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic were fighting forever?
Yes,
and they were
their best of 7 series.
Yeah, and they were fighting over the North American Championship and all that sort of thing, and they just fought over it. And we're like, why don't you throw Priest in there? Why don't you throw Swerve in there? Why don't you throw Killian Dane in there? Like, there's so many spots that have been, like, anybody could have taken a turn.
Yes.
And
instead they just focus on the same.
That, in that case it was, Dominik Dijakovic, who I don't really have anything nice to say about. But in this case, Velveteen Dream, and I'm sorry, I gotta tap dance around it once again, but like, in his case, you gotta think of, okay, why? Maybe, perhaps, and then he has the car accident. I'm not saying he didn't have a car accident.
No, I know he did.
I
know that's
don't get me wrong. I'm not doing the conspiracy thing, but it's kind of
the timing is so suspicious. I mean, it really couldn't have been more of a conspiracy.
So you get the probably the worst offender of somebody that's been shoved down our throats unnecessarily, and then you see him returning to get another shot, and then you throw the real life stuff on top.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and I'm sorry, it comes down to a comparison. Sammy Guevara got fucked in AEW because for a month because he said some mean things on a podcast.
Said one mean thing. Said
one, and I'm not defending it. Let's be perfectly clear about this. I'm not defending it, but he said some stupid shit on a podcast.
But you knew what his intention was. He didn't actually have any malice or hate in his heart.
Yeah, it was a shock value on a podcast.
Exactly.
But like, and I go back to Enzo Amore, and everybody's like, oh, well, nobody really cares about Enzo Amore. But that's not the point. You've got somebody that's categorically proven innocent, proven from a police point of view, from the Phoenix local court system point of view, from WWE's own, investigation into it and all that sort of thing. Proven categorically that what that chick in Phoenix, Arizona said, Phoenix, haha, was
a lie.
Was entirely bullshit and still lost his fucking job.
Yep, there was no flip, rip, stick, and booming.
And you've got this where it's going around Twitter again this week. The amount of young people that that claim to have these interactions with him, that have the video proof, that have the answering machine proof, that have like the text proof, and they got my photos because my phone was hacked. It's like, okay, how do you explain the video conversations? How do you explain
the video conversations and
and
the voice messages and
I'm sorry, but it does eventually go down to like, Enzo lost his job even though he was innocent. Jordan Devlin just got let go. I believe Travis Banks got let go. Sammy Guevara over on the other side just got fucked over.
Excalibur's been gone for a month.
Excalibur's been, well, that's another matter, but even
still, it's there's repercussions.
Like, and
now
I'm
Dream
sorry.
has no repercussions,
and nobody wants to say it.
Wins,
nobody wants to say
disaster.
it, Jake. And I'm not saying that this is the reason why, but there's one very big difference between all the people we just mentioned and Dream. And I'm sorry. And he's got a better tan than the rest of them.
Yeah, and it is
notable. And I don't want to suck you into my bad take there if you don't want to be there. And I'll take the shit.
That has to be considered because you have to have that kind of eyes wide open view of the world nowadays, just with how things are handled. And, we made the joke before, with White Devil and all that kind of stuff, but it's like, oh, all right, there is a bias there nowadays because people don't want to, WWE, the last thing they want to do is look racist in any light way.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't think it's a bias by WWE. I think it's in a lot of cases. I mean, yes, as you mentioned before, they're very high on him as a talent, which is fine. That's up to opinion. There's things that he's done that I'd like to know.
How much of that is a diversity check, box being checked too, so...
I think it's more a case of, at this point, there's a bunch of people that have done bad things, and you can only punish some of them.
That's true. Well,
I just, you can't mention, and I've done enough Sasha Banks content on this channel, but you cannot even go on Twitter and mention that she was in the match where Paige suffered her, career-ending injury, whatever. I could go up there right now and mention that, not even blaming her.
Yeah,
and I will get jumped on for being this-ist and that-ist and whatever. But this is fucking retarded, this is.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, this is where,
It should have been handled a lot better. Much, much better. They dropped the ball on this one.
If the standard that's been set by... how they handled everybody else.
How they handled other wrestlers. He should have been let go immediately. And then rehired if they, deemed him to be
exactly.
worthy.
Or, if
I don't want that to be the standard either. I don't want to see people get fired. But that's what they've done before. So let's try and break that norm. Okay, fine. We don't want to have the accuser be viewed as 100% accurate. So investigate it. But if you said you did this investigation, then make it better known what was what occurred and that he's cleared. That's what needs to happen going forward. Because right now, the fans just changed his name to R. Kelly on Wikipedia. They're not happy.
Well, I was going to say, the fans are in on it at this point. But, at the very beginning, it was a whole, obviously, you know what people come at me with. It's not a secret at this point. But they're like, oh, I bet you don't think that about Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's situation is 110% different. Matt Riddle, probably at the company's permission, Matt Riddle went on Twitter fucking live, whatever you want to call it, and laid his entire fucking dick out on the table. Here's the situation. Here's what this psycho has done to me. Here's the proof of what I've been dealing with for the past year. Here's where her accusations are. Here's where, none of that adds up. And he could be talking. He could be bullshitting out his mouth. But he took it on, and he took it on face value. WWE made comments about it. They were at least putting out the image of it being, forthright and direct and whatever. They haven't said fuck all other than Triple H. Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. He was in a car accident.
Yeah, he played stupid. So, but I see him winning because it's going to be a PR, not disaster, but a total shitstorm, and it'll get people talking. It felt like they added him to have him win.
I don't want this to turn into the most negative version of a John Cena situation where it's like, oh, well, if people are talking, then he's done something right. They used to run that about John Cena, and it was ridiculous. And it's like, oh, yeah, we're talking about him because we can't stand him. We don't want him on our TV anymore.
Yeah,
this is the absolute darkest timeline version of that logic.